Drunk and entitled, Karen mocked the Queen's guard, thinking she could do anything. But when she tried to mount his horse, things took a shocking turn. The crowd was stunned, and the guardsman's reaction changed everything. Let's rewind and see how it all began. But before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We share the untold stories, secrets, and traditions of the British Guards every day. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. London, Buckingham Palace. The sun is shining, casting a warm glow over the grand facade of the palace. The bustling crowd of tourists weaves around, snapping photos and chatting animatedly. Amidst the frenzy, the royal guardsman stands as still as a statue, embodying centuries of tradition. He's a symbol of stoic dignity, a living monument of British heritage. Nothing can shake his resolve until she arrives. Karen, oh Karen, a middle-aged woman in a bright pink dress that's a few sizes too tight, clearly no stranger to the concept of overeating. She stumbles slightly as she moves, the scent of cheap alcohol on her breath lingering in the air. Her face, covered in an unfortunate mix of makeup and sweat, is locked in a bizarre grin that can only mean one thing. She's had one too many. She stares at the guardsman, her eyes wide with drunken amusement, as if she's just spotted a circus attraction. "Hey, you!" she shouts, her voice slurring slightly. "You're just standing there like a mannequin. Do something. At least smile, you stiff." The crowd falls silent for a moment. The audacity. Who does this woman think she is? Seriously, you'd think she owns the place. But there she is, trying to provoke a soldier who stands guard for the Queen herself. What does she expect? A personal show? The guardsman doesn't flinch. Not a muscle moves. His face is an impassible mask, unreadable and stern. This, of course, only seems to irritate Karen even more. She doesn't get it. She's in a foreign land, and her entitlement is on full display. To her, being a tourist is like carrying a golden ticket to disrespect anyone in sight. The crowd around her starts to shift uncomfortably. Some exchange uneasy glances, others pull out their phones to record, but no one dares intervene. And why would they? They're too busy watching a woman who thinks she can bully a man whose job it is to stand silently for hours, like a living statue. "Get a life," one of the bystanders mutters under their breath. "Smile, for Christ's sake! You think you're better than me?" Karen yells again, her words cutting through the air like an angry hornet. Sigh. What next? Maybe she'll try to sit on his horse. The conflict escalates. The quest for entertainment. Karen's antics escalate as she starts hopping around in front of the guardsman, arms flailing like a child throwing a tantrum in a toy store. Her face is flushed with a mixture of drunken amusement and pure entitlement. She's a human hurricane, flinging her arms in the air, yelling, and drawing the attention of every tourist within a 10-meter radius. But the guardsman? Not a twitch, not a flinch. His face remains a perfect mask of stoic indifference, a monument to British tradition, unimpressed by the spectacle unfolding before him. This, of course, only fuels Karen's determination. No reaction? Fine. She'll create her own entertainment. "You won't play, so I'll make you play," she declares with slurred confidence. And then it hits her. The idea. Her hand shoots out, pointing towards the majestic horse next to the guardsman. This will show him. She's going to ride the damn horse. Why not? She's a tourist, she's entitled, and she's had enough of waiting for a show that doesn't come with a ticket. She approaches the horse, staggering slightly. The horse, a noble creature that has clearly seen more than its fair share of ridiculous behavior, simply shifts its weight, unfazed by her approach. Meanwhile, Karen, undeterred by her lack of grace, attempts to climb up. Her movements are less elegant rider and more drunk aunt at a family barbecue trying to get on a mechanical bull. The crowd watches in varying states of disbelief, some recording the spectacle, others shaking their heads in embarrassment. Seriously, is this really happening? Did she just think that horse was some kind of Uber for tourists? And through all of this, the guardsman stands unmoved, not even bothering to glance in her direction. His stoic posture seems to say, "This too shall pass," as though he's seen everything this insane world has to offer. He's unshakable. But the crowd, oh, they're not happy. The murmurs begin, rising up like a low rumble. Who does this woman think she is? The air grows thick with judgment. Karen's about to learn that no amount of entitlement will save her from what happens next. But let's see how far she gets before reality catches up to her. Unexpected twist. The horse throws Karen off. Somehow, despite the odds and gravity, Karen manages to hoist herself onto the horse. She grips the reins as if she's suddenly transformed into a cowboy, swaying like a drunken cowgirl in a bad western. And then, with the triumph only a person who's never had to do a real thing in their life can muster, she lets out a loud, proud shout. "Look at me! I'm riding a horse! This is awesome, right?" The crowd freezes, unsure whether to laugh or gasp. It's an absurd spectacle. But hey, she's a tourist, right? She's entitled to a little showtime. The world's her stage, and the guardsman, he's just an accessory. For a moment, Karen looks like she's found her moment of glory. She's on the horse. But then reality hits her, hard and fast. The horse, probably with more common sense than her, senses the extra weight and shifts. A quick jerk, and before she can even register what's happening, the horse bucks her off with all the grace of a clumsy bowling ball. The sound of her body hitting the cobblestones echoes across the courtyard, a resounding thud that makes even the seasoned guardsman briefly glance in her direction. Though his face, of course, reveals nothing. Karen lets out a high-pitched scream that cuts through the air, something between surprise and pure regret. It's like she's finally realized that maybe, not maybe, but definitely, she's crossed a line. The crowd, oh, they've all stopped filming their selfies and are now fixated on her fall. Some look in shock, others in disbelief. But most of them are just waiting for the next chapter of this tragicomedy. And the guardsman, still, like a marble statue, his face betrays nothing. He's as immovable as ever, a figure of dignity amidst the chaos. But let's not pretend that Karen's self-made disaster isn't making the crowd's discomfort palpable. The air is thick with the kind of awkward tension that only a failed stunt can bring. And as she lies there trying to process what just happened, the first wave of reality crashes down. She's made a fool of herself. And guess what? She has an audience, and they're loving it. The climax and resolution, the ambulance and the lesson. The crowd grows, murmuring and laughing at the spectacle. Within moments, an ambulance arrives. Paramedics rush to Karen's side, checking her over. Her drunken state makes it hard for her to understand what's happening, but it's clear she's in no condition to continue her day. Well, that was fun, right? She attempts a weak joke, but it falls flat. The paramedics, unamused by her antics, load her into the ambulance while a few onlookers continue to film the scene. Karen tries to defend her actions, but the audience isn't interested in her excuses. As the ambulance drives off, the guardsman remains exactly where he was, still as a stone. His expression is unchanged, and he adjusts his hat slightly, returning to his duties as if nothing had happened. Another day in London ends. Karen, now a cautionary tale of poor decisions, is whisked away, while the guardsman continues his job with unshakable composure. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and let us know in the comments which guard tradition you'd like us to cover next. See you in the next video.